somewhere out there, there's Mount Kilimanjaro waiting for us to get on it. We can't see anything right now. It's cold, it's wet, it's windy. Running through a lot of trees, can't see Mount Kilimanjaro right now. This is pretty intimidating. It's just taken me completely out of my depth, but at the same time it's exciting. It's new, it's different, it's a challenge, and that's usually the best part. Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest mountain on the African continent and the world's tallest freestanding mountain. Sometimes called the Roof of Africa, it's a huge, dormant volcano rising nearly 6 kilometers above sea level. During our climb, our guide will lead us through 5 climatic zones. We'll pass from lush mountain forests into scenic moorland. We'll then move into the stark alpine desert zone. From there, we'll climb up into the Arctic region, where we will get the chance to see Kilimanjaro's famous vanishing glaciers. Our climb will culminate in a difficult last push up to Uhuru Peak at the summit. It's a long and challenging journey, passing through some unique environments with a chance to see some of Africa's most awe-inspiring scenery. However, many people who attempt this climb don't actually make it to the top. Tragically, some even die each year in the attempt. One of the things we're going to be looking at on our journey is just how much the mountain and the process of climbing it has changed over time. To find out, I paid a visit to the home of the Kilimanjaro Mountain Club at the Marango Hotel. Seamus Bryce Bennett is the current owner of the hotel and custodian of the Mountain Club's records.
On the afternoon of Thursday, July the 26th, 1928.
When explorers in the 1840s first described seeing a snow-capped mountain on the equator, people did not believe them. Many attempts were made to be the first to reach the top, but it was a long time later, in 1889, before the mountain was finally conquered by a team led by German geographer Hans Meyer.
So, Rama, we've got some interesting photos in here. This is a collection of photos. It shows how the ice has changed on Kibo over a period of over a century. Yeah,
because that's the first is 1920.
Yeah, this is 1920, and just look at it. There's an ice cap all the way around. This here is 2005, and you know, it's really a fraction of what it was up there.
I've never done this before. What would you tell someone like me to watch out for? What are the do's and don'ts when climbing out on Mount Kilimanjaro?
Ultimately, it comes down to 4 cardinal rules if you want to have a successful climb of the mountain. Number 1, the most important, go slowly. Pole pole, all right? Because altitude...
You're telling that to a Kenyan. We're not really used to going slowly.
You have to. Altitude is no respecter of youth, strength, fitness, or Kenyans. All right?
Duly noted.
Right. Number 2, you've got to drink like it's going out of fashion. You just have to really pour the fluids into you. And thirdly, when you're up high, you've really got to watch the sun. You know, it is just hugely dangerous. The ultraviolet burns people to a crisp. And finally, I always say to people, look, we can never guarantee you're going to get to the top of the mountain. Sometimes altitude is kind and sometimes it's not. So ultimately, you've got to remember, it's a beautiful, unique mountain. And wherever you get to on it, you just have to enjoy yourself.
And you have to respect the mountain.
Oh, of course, you respect it. But ultimately, enjoy it.
But on the way to begin our climb, things weren't exactly off to an enjoyable start. Worse side of the road, very, very narrow, and that anytime soon. Right then, the mountain's first challenge, having the bus stuck somewhere down the road, has finally been overcome. Our gears all here, doing final checks, everything seems to be in order. But night is going to fall fairly soon. Temperatures will drop, the rain might actually come. The weather around here snaps very quickly. So torches, very handy. Rain gear, in my case a poncho, also very handy. It's one thing to talk about climbing the mountain, it's another thing to actually do it. This is a part where actually the rubber meets the road, so let's go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, shall we? As we're about to take our first steps on one of Africa's great journeys, thoughts inevitably turn to the scale of what's ahead of us and whether our bodies and minds are tough enough to complete the challenge of Kilimanjaro.